Hi, this is Emily Matthews. I'm a realtor serving the Tri-County area of Sheboygan, Calumet, and Manitowoc counties. And in this short webinar, we are going to explore something that you may not have thought of. So you definitely need advice when you need to make a move. It can make your buying or selling experience better, and you also need information, starting with something you may not have even considered. So it's really not necessarily obvious, but there's etiquette in real estate. For example, if you contact a realtor, they should ask if you're already working with an agent. So going into etiquette for sellers, please make your wishes easily known. For example, if you want people to wear booties, put them where they can see them as soon as people walk into the house. It doesn't help if the box with the booties is behind the door that gets open. Nobody will see it there until they're ready to leave, and then they're going to go, oh, oops. So you want to really make it very obvious, whether it's booties, take off shoes, hand sanitizer. You probably, for your own comfort, you want to wipe down light switches after a showing because people will be turning them on or off. Confirm all showings at least at first by contacting your agent. Sometimes people think they're confirming showings in the app that we use, and then it turns out that they actually didn't confirm it. So just let your agent know the first time that you confirm a showing. If you have animals, please take them with you or lock them up. They can escape, and I can tell you one time where the buyers and I opened the door and there was a pet waiting right behind the door who leaped out, and then instead of looking at the house, we were trying to corral the pet, which was running down the street. And people sometimes are very afraid of animals. That's another problem. And if you have any kind of guns, decorative knives, swords, anything like that, it makes sense to lock it up just because it helps people's comfort level and your own as well. If you have collectible items, some people may pose as a buyer to scope out what they think they can get. And above all, please do not blame the agent if you did not follow their advice. Remember how I said you need advice. Marketing is only as good as you allow it to be. And remember that the market always talks. Now going into buyers, this is going to be a little more lengthy because I've run into several situations or either no agents that ran into them. So the first big point is you want to interview agents and you want to pick one agent that you want to work with. Please do not go on Zillow, pick 5 houses that you want to see, call the agents that paid to have their picture there, or call the listing agent for each one, because you can end up looking at all 5 houses with 5 different agents and each one thinks that you're their buyer. There are a lot of legal ramifications to this, and besides, it's just bad manners. So please just have one person that you're comfortable working with. If you did start with working with some agent and you feel like it's not working out or it's just not a good fit, let them know. We've all had people come to us from other agents or leave us to go to other agents. We can take it. Do not assume ahead of time what you can afford and tell the agent that's your price point and start looking at houses without finding out for sure what you really can afford. I had a number of times people that thought they could afford one price bracket and it turned out that it was a different price bracket that they could actually afford, both up or down. The second thing is you absolutely please respect time. This is both in being there on time for the showing and actually turning up. It is not polite to any agent to ask them to show you a house. They drive 40 minutes, they're sitting waiting for you, and then they have to call you and you say, oh, I couldn't make it. The same thing with punctuality. In fact, there are some lock boxes, the electronic ones, that will have a time slot in them. And if you're not there in that time slot, you'll be locked out and you won't be able to see it. They're not around here, but in some other areas, that's what it is. So you really want to try to be punctual. And then please be specific when you want to see a property. It happens quite frequently that someone will call and say, I want to see a property in 2 days. That doesn't help. We have to know, is it morning, is it afternoon, is it evening? On the other side, please don't say, I'm calling to see if you can get me into a house in an hour. Nobody is going to have enough warning, least of all the seller. And you have to remember that the sellers will put a time frame that they need to get their house ready. If they have a lot of little kids or they work from home or some situation, they may request a 4-hour advance warning. And calling an office and asking an agent to get you in inside of an hour or something like that is not helpful at all to the seller or to the agent or even to you. So please be respectful of that. And then when you're actually showing the house, these things all happened to me except for one. Sometimes people think that they can bring ladders along or tools to open up breaker boxes or climb into the attic or on the roof or other things. This is a huge no-no. The reason is, number one, you're not a home inspector. That is the area that a home inspector will take care of. They are licensed and insured. You are not. And the seller has a lot of liability for anything that could happen on their property. So if you were just visiting someone, you wouldn't want to try to climb on their roof. So please leave the ladders at home. Do not bring along food and use the seller's kitchen as a picnic table. This happened to me again. She came home and was quite upset to find her garbage full of wrappers and said, well, what were these people thinking? You know, did they look at my house or did they just stop here to eat? Please don't bring your friends. Back in the day, it used to be that sometimes a minivan would pull up and 7 or 8 people would pile out. Well, now since COVID, we are all much more mindful, and it's really best just to have the people that are going to be making the decision viewing the house. Another one is dislodging ceiling tiles or adjusting thermostats or trying to move even a wall panel. I had one seller who came home and found that a ceiling panel had been lifted up and set aside and they never even put it back. He said, what were these people thinking? Somebody had a dehumidifier in their basement. It was very touchy and it was at the exact right setting. It was a vacant house and the person would check every day and called me very upset that someone had obviously turned the dial because now the dehumidifier was iced up and there was water everywhere. Again, this is just not good manners. And it might seem stupid that I'm pointing this out, but these things really did happen. So I'm pointing them out. Please don't smoke and toss your butts on the ground. That's pretty self-evident. And the last one did not happen to me, but to a different realtor where the buyer's agent let the people bring their dog onto the property, which pooped all over the balcony and it had diarrhea and they didn't even really clean it up. Now, again, that's just plain bad manners. I'm sorry to have to point it out, but these things are real situations, and please don't be offended by me telling you this or warning you this, because ultimately every single one of these situations wasn't really the buyer's fault if the agent that let them in the house didn't tell them. Those buyer agents in each situation should have coached and guided the buyers to say, no, you cannot bring food in the house and eat here. No, you can't bring all your neighbors and friends or your dog or whatever. And ultimately, remember, you're probably being recorded. There are recording devices in almost every house now, and sellers do not have to tell anybody that they're doing it because it's their property. And again, with buyers, remember that the agent is only as good as the offer that you let them write. So if they're making suggestions as how to make your offer stronger and you don't want to listen, please don't blame the agent if you didn't listen to their suggestions. So why do I do it? The best way I can demonstrate how I can help is actually to help you. And that's it for now. Thank you for watching. This is Emily Matthews, serving the Tri-County area of Sheboygan, Calumet, and Manitowoc counties, here to help you with all your real estate needs. Don't forget to subscribe and have a great day.